because that's just what's happening. We are winning.
We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. Yeah. We winning. I know they hating out here. Yeah. I know they mad. They all in their feelings. But baby, I don't care. She calling the police on me and everything. Yeah. Somebody need to get on the phone, call my attorney. Dealing with these hard-headed hoes who ain't learned.
Salute, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Simple Shit TV. I'm your host, Alpha Olden, also known as Project 8020. We are on the road to 2,000 subs. We're not completely out of YouTube purgatory yet. And we're probably not doing ourselves any favors by the subject of this here broadcast, but we are going to do it anyway. I want to welcome any and everybody that's catching this bad boy on a replay. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Salute to you guys. Before we get into the meat and potatoes, as people are slowly but surely making their way on in, we're going to do a little something here. We're going to just talk about what's popping on X right now, because I think it's kind of interesting. It looks more and more like folks are trying to coax these black folks into some sort of a overreaction, which is what I'm absolutely afraid of. And I don't know how I feel about that. But before we get into super duper deep, I want to welcome to the broadcast my brother Broken Blade to the broadcast. What's up, sir? How are you doing?
What's up, man? I was wrong, boy.
Uh-oh.
I'm like pissed off this past. You'll know the exact moment when I post a video.
Oh boy.
You ever had that moment when you edit the video, something else comes to light, kind of changes the trajectory of the whole video?
I don't know about full blown changing the trajectory, but yeah.
Not
absolutely.
Like full blown, like the ending with a little different aspect. That Asian octoroon broad or whatever.
Yeah.
Last bit I was doing some editing. Uncle D said something that piqued my interest. Like she has like a website where she's hawking these bullshit t-shirts and hoodies.
Oh, she's selling products.
Yeah, all look like they're done with like most of them like they're done with like AI. Uncle D said something that triggered me to remember back on the website. He said, he was like ran the response to a video. He said something along the lines, "We're tired of our blood being spilled to someone else benefiting from the spectacle."
Amen.
This bitch sells a t-shirt with Emmett Till's face on it.
Does she have the rights and or the licensing to be able to do that?
Doubtful.
Huh. Interesting. I'm so interesting that you said that.
Bro, I was trying to keep it civil.
Mm.
Till I connected it down. Oh, fuck that. Like the more I like researched for the video, like the angrier I was getting. Like, clearly a fucking grifter.
Huh. What? That's par for the course, right?
Yeah.
That's par for the course. That's so funny you said that. Where's my other phone? So, this post came through my along the same lines of what you're talking about. A post came along the lines, and I don't think I have it up. I think I posted it on one of my social medias. I thought I put it I could have swore I put it on my community tab, but I don't see it. So it says D'Angelo streams skyrocket 796% after his death. 3 songs reached the R&B charts.
DMX flashbacks.
And, you know, I think, and what I posted something that was like, you know, let's see if I can even find that mess. Cause I think I think I have it. It's like off. I posted something that was like, you know, basically, you know, man dies and all these other people are still getting paid. And someone still chimes in. It's like, well, you know, why didn't he, you know, it's probably because people are listening and remembering his music and so on and so forth, you know, in the comment section. And I said, yeah, but, you know, it doesn't mean that Spotify and the record companies still aren't taking their cut. They're not, you know, sending that money to his family. You know, if they are, they're not saying anything about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's a pretty nasty way to, you know, it's like guy passes and you're still eating off of his body, still eating off of his work.
And that's not even anybody see. That's not even like race specific.
No.
The shout out Bob Ross. That's what's been happening to him.
Absolutely. I think it's just, you know, obviously it just is yeah. I mean, there's just something gross about it. There's something really nasty about it. You know, Broken Blade, I knew this wasn't going to be a very popular broadcast. And, you know, if I were following the trends, or if I were doing the things that, you know, if I were to kind of chase the algorithm a little bit, I would be talking about, you know, the NBA. I would be talking about, you know, Trump and black crime and so on and so forth. But I kind of just wanted to highlight, because, and the reason why I did this is because, and, you know, somebody that I know posted a photo of a black guy that had committed a particularly heinous crime. And I understand why they posted the image, I guess, because it was a particularly heinous crime. But it really just, you know, it spoke to the narrative. You know, crazy looking black dude committing this really heinous crime against a woman or whatever. And, you know, and I privately was just like, hey, man, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what are you doing? Like, take that down. Like, you know, and he didn't really understand. He's like, wow, I mean, he did this nasty, this terrible thing. And I was like, bro,
you know, we're after the victim.
Say what?
They showed the aftermath of the victim.
No, just the mugshot. You know, just the mugshot. You know, and I'm just like, I'm tired of seeing mugshots of us and nobody else. You know, and it's like, you know, and just roll with me a little bit, because I think we're not understanding the media landscape. I want to say war, but I'm going to just say landscape. And the majority of us still don't get it. That
Yes.
that
Yeah.
this weapon is being used against us. This weapon is being used against us. You know what I mean? And we are contributing to our own demise. And it's hard to understand the, well, it's not that hard, but it's kind of hard to understand the psychology of it. You know, it's like, and again, and then part of this is like, I had a conversation with a person that is of Indian descent, you know, red dot, and just talking about how, you know, just the differences in how, you know, they don't, at least here in America, they don't push and promote the the criminalization of their people. You know, even if they're some of their people did something bad, they don't promote it, they don't push it, it doesn't make it their social.
In India, of all places, baby, they should have just.
Well, I mean, but again,
That's
that's, I feel you. I feel you, because India's crazy, right? Like, you know, if you talk about, you know, what dudes put hands and paws and feet on people, it's they put paws on people. They do the but here in this country, even though they still do it and act the way that they do, they don't promote the arrests
yeah,
of those people, so on and so forth. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
And it's only us who have been kind of conned into highlighting our the lowest of our people, you know. And it really got me thinking. I'm just like, man, do people really know how this is being like used against us, like how it's being levered against us? And so I did a little Google search. I did just a little, I mean, again, I'm not trying to do anything crazy. You know, Simple Shit TV is like this for a reason. I want to keep things simple, because I don't want things to get too convoluted, you know. And I just said, are American Black creators censored on YouTube more than others? That was the question that I asked. And again, like I said, I'm not going to go super duper deep about it, right? And I've got some examples of some of these things. I'm just going to hammer through these a little bit, but and I'm not a victim, right? I see the game, I see how things are being played, and I make adjustments. You know, we make adjustments. But being undermined by people that look like me is where I kind of I'm just like, bro, you're blowing up the spot, like it's you. you're giving all this breath. So it says, and this is also interesting. I don't like how it's worded, but excuse me. Sorry, I'm tired, running on all the cylinders right now. Multiple Black American creators have alleged that their content is that their content is unfairly censored and demonetized on YouTube more than others, citing issues that the platform's algorithms and moderation practices. While YouTube has denied these claims and stated its moderation is neutral, in 2023, a 2023 lawsuit was dismissed by a judge who acknowledged that the algorithm could be biased based on race. Key issues highlighted by the creators and research include Algorithmic bias. A class action lawsuit filed in 2020 alleged that YouTube's algorithms intentionally use racial profiling to restrict content from Black creators. The suit claimed that the algorithm was used to suppress and demonetize videos discussing topics such as Black Lives Matter, racial profiling, and police shootings. Disproportionate restrictions. Some Black creators have received content restrictions such as age gating for content that is not restricted on the same channels of white that is not restricted on the channels of white creators. For example, gaming YouTuber Corey Kenshin, detailed an instance where his video was age restricted while a similar video by a white creator was not, suggesting targeted moderation.
That's hilarious. I posted that video in the back chat.
I remember that. I think we actually covered it for a split second. We touched on that. Which is, again, this is not our platform.
Yeah.
Right? Like we are on someone else's platform. And, the law says that they can do whatever they want with it. And unless I can prove discrimination, which I don't have the back end, and there's no way that Google's going to allow me to get the back end, I would have to prove it through some clever action. The reason why he made it he was able to do it was because real time he was able to show pretty much the exact same video, right? And how it was age restricted for one and not the other. Targeting of racial discourse. Research from organizations like the Brennan Center for Justice and Studies on Social Media Moderation indicate that so-called colorblind content policies often disadvantage marginalized groups. They argue that these policies can suppress anti-racist content while protecting more dominant and even bigoted viewpoints.
Like we've covered a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Most every other slur is a no-no on this platform except for the hard R.
Except for the hard R. Fascinating. But here's the thing, man. You know what, too? I am so glad you said that. We're gonna put a pin in that because I have a couple of clips specifically around that point. I am so glad you said that. You are right on the money. Right on the money. Real talk. We're going to come back to that. Monetization issues. Discriminatory moderation can severely impact a creator's ability to earn a living on the platform. Black creators report demonetization, reduced ad revenue, and lower visibility in recommendations and search results compared to their non-Black counterparts. Now, I distinctly remember Black Manosphere, 1.0, 2.0, and how YouTube just decimated those guys in their channels, the Sotomayor's and so on. And I believe that they would have done it to Kevin if he hadn't caught fire the way that he did.
Yeah.
He would have been mixed up. He was luckily kind of slid in right at the tail end of that, so he didn't get caught up in it. Recent legal outcomes. In 2023, the federal judge dismissed the class action lawsuit from Black and Latino creators, ruling that although the YouTube algorithm could be biased, the plaintiffs had not sufficiently proven they were victims of discrimination. This outcome highlights the legal and evidentiary challenges of holding platforms accountable for algorithmic bias. And of course, the disclaimer, it's important to note that YouTube denies engaging in racial discrimination, asserting its policies are applied consistently and that its algorithms do not identify user race. However, the experiences of many creators and findings of some researchers suggest that disparities in content moderation and algorithmic promotion persist. Now, just recently, there's a podcast called The Native Pod. Have you heard of this? Have you heard of this podcast? Native Land podcast.
No.
It is Angela Rye I think Bakari Sellers, Tiffany Cross, and another one of these politicians. And just last week, they were discussing Mark Lamont Hill being on the Joe Budden podcast. Now, Tiffany Cross and Angela Rye here periodically, they get into their, sister girl bag, and they don't, and they because okay, so one of the other reasons, obviously, there's the algorithm, right? We were discussing the algorithm and kind of the things around that. There's multifaceted, but you've got the money aspect of the algorithm, you've got the censorship part of the algorithm, and then you've got kind of the social media and social part of the algorithm, right? So those are 3 of the 5 points that I wanted to talk about specifically, right? So because we are on media, we're in the so on. So 3 of the 5. Now, 2 of the 5 we're going to cover here. Now, black media gatekeeping and the boule of sorts, right? They will socially try to push you out of or try to push you out of these areas. So Angela Rye gets on the podcast and she's basically says that essentially Mark Lamont Hill is too intelligent to even bring himself down to be on the Joe Budden podcast, and that they're just not, like, he's wasting his time. He should be either here with them or like on CNN or something where all the other intellectual blacks are. That was her point. And in saying so, she absolutely demeaned everyone on the Joe Budden podcast as if they're just a bunch of idiots. And
his audience and black people at large.
And it's so I want you to remember, we're going to circle back to what we said earlier about the N-word, right? Because there's like an interesting hypocrisy that happened in this whole thing also, that I found to be particularly despicable. Now, what happened was Joe Budden popped off and he was like, I've never even said Angela Rye's name. Like, I don't even know who, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even in that circle. It's kind of trash for her on her podcast to be demeaning me and my podcast and my crew. He makes crazy money, bro, like millions of dollars off of his Patreon. And he's in there podding every single day. They're podding and talking every single day. So he's earning his living. Yeah. He's built that thing up on his own. He's made mistakes. He's had lots of controversy, but he's done it on his own. To demean him and what he's done is low, right? So Charlemagne the God reaches out privately to them and says, hey, I kind of agree with Joe. Like, what are you, like, how do you, this is part of the reason why the Democrats lost, is because, you guys think you're like too good, high and mighty to have these conversations or to platform these people, but that's your voting block. Like, that's the voting block. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So this is probably one of the few times I really agreed with Charlemagne on this point. And I'd like to run through this part here. Shout out to Braxton. What's up, broski? And then I'd like to talk about this part here. And then at the end of the interview, I'd like to cover a part towards the end of that interview. And then we're gonna also go over to this. I don't know if you heard this controversy with this Monaleo person, this girl that did the video.
The
And
videos pop up on my feed. I haven't watched them yet, so I
okay,
don't know.
we'll talk about that a little bit later on, because again, that goes into that N-word stuff that we were talking about earlier. But let's hear what Charlemagne has to say. I think his given name is Leonard, so shout out to Leonard instead of because I'm not gonna call anybody the God, but let's let him rock.
Sometimes I don't even like to have private conversations publicly, but you know, when I first saw what y'all talked about last week, I hit Angela and I was like, I want to talk about what y'all was just speaking about. Not saying I want to talk about it on the show. I said I just want to talk to you personally. And then, you know, when I saw what, you know, Joe Budden said about it, I agreed with Joe. You know, I felt like, you know, it came off, you know, very elitist, you know, very Jack and Jill, you know, very, you know, I got my nose up at these Negroes over here. And I don't think that, you know, you don't make any strides in connecting community by doing that conversation in the way that it was done. You know, I feel like, you know, whenever there's instead of calling people out, sometimes you should call people in. And you know, the whole conversation around who's an intellectual and who's not intellectual. My biggest issue with it was, well, damn, you know, a person who's an intellectual should look at the whole context of a situation before they have a conversation about it. I feel like, you know, Andrew said one of the strongest points last week when Andrew was like, I don't watch this show enough to have an opinion about it. You know, and then he said, but I trust Mark, you know, being Mark to be in spaces where, you know, he knows he needs to be in. And as I'm listening to the comment, I told Angela that even when she told me that y'all wanted to talk about it, it came up as a topic of discussion. I said, well, make sure you watch the whole thing in context before you just watch a clip of it and then, you know, speak on it for the next 20 or 30 minutes. Because to me, that's what an intellectual should do, right? Like that's what an intelligent person should do. An intelligent person should get the whole context of something before they comment on it, instead of watching like 2 or 3 minutes of something and then actually taking the clip out of context. Because if you watch the clip in context, Mark was actually wrong. You know, if they're the right or wrong in the situation, Mark was actually the one who was wrong in that situation, so much so that he even came back and apologized, you know, the next week. And the conversation just kind of made me feel a way like, damn, like that's how we look at each other as black people.
Tim, I want you.
Okay, now so before we go into that, what do you think about what he just said? You think that that's a fair assessment?
Lucid and reasonable, absolutely.
Right. And in this climate where everyone is making these snap judgments and, you know, saying these crazy things, you know, that is a very reasonable, you know, statement that he made. Now, I want you to focus in on a couple of different things, right? He said, instead of, you know, watching a couple of clips, you know, an intelligent person, or I think he said an intelligent person would listen to the whole thing and get the whole context before they make some sort of a whatever, right? And again, and I know this is going to feel like that's a lot, but it all kind of ties together, because when it comes to us, people don't even need to hear the whole story and we're guilty. So,
oh, dude, facts. Like, it's very much a microcosm.
Yeah.
A sub from a guy for exactly that reason. It was you just reacted to like one of those idiots in cars compilations, like people doing stupid shit on the road, car crash. And this one in particular was like a road rage incident, like in New Jersey. And apparently, like New Jersey has a law like the customer cannot pump their own gas, like the attendants have to do it.
Yeah.
In the video, there's like this old, like racist old couple, like fucking with this black dude that's attended at the place. Dude was trying to do his job, like woman like hit this dude with a cane like twice. There was a white woman that was recording the whole thing. That saw everything that happened. She said the woman hit the guy twice. Other people in the video said she hit the guy twice. See the whole thing. Well, dude, he probably did something to her. I don't know what. Go fuck yourself.
So what they said that her aggression, they're saying was he must have done something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was her response. She couldn't have been the aggressor in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Like we're so quick to, oh, he did that, all of that's kind of part of what I wanted to kind of talk about, because again, it all kind of ties together, right? Like, again, this person that posted this photo, all right, maybe he was in and out of jail, maybe he did do a heinous thing or whatever, but like, that's what we have courts for, and we've gotten way too comfortable with already assuming guilt and then prescribing punishment and making that okay. And it's becoming a little bit shocking to me when I really look up. And like I said, we're going to talk about that basketball thing maybe tomorrow, because I want to give it proper exploration. But it's like Chauncey Billups, oh, they did that. It's like everyone is willing to like throw the NBA cheating thing and the gambling thing, right? All these gamble. DraftKings is like the number one a sponsor for all these sports, but they're going to try to make these two or three guys like and one of the cases was like a poker game that was like not NBA related, but the only reason why it was NBA related was because they were like supposed to be there. Yeah, I mean, it's just, but everyone's like, oh, they're gonna throw the book at these guys. Oh, they belong to get it. I'm like, they arrested a head coach of a professional basketball team, man. Chauncey Billups is a Trailblazers head coach, and they arrested him and raided his home. Like, what? Let's let the attorneys hash this out before we.
His home behind gambling.
Yeah. They said that there were. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Back, and that's my fault for going on this tangent. Back to this now. So Charlemagne says, "Hey, look, I would like to think that, an intellectual would want to fully understand a situation before they have formed some sort of an opinion. And the opinion that you had came across very elitist. It came across as if it was like, whatever. And we always talk about the boule, and people try to act like being in the boule is stupid or the boule doesn't exist or whatever. But then they act exactly like the boule. And you're like, well, you claim that you're not in some sort of a boule, but you're doing what the boule does. So this is the response. Now, we all know Tiffany Cross, fired from MSNBC, I believe, and Miss Angela Rye, I believe she was also fired from that job also. And we also know how they typically feel and or respond to men. So I want you to listen to this with those ears. Let's hear what Tiffany Cross has to say.
To go here because this is Tiff's conversation, but I do want to. Oh no.
Interesting.
Oh, but this was Tiff's idea. Tiff is ready to claim that, and we're fine. We all weighed in. We all said what we said. But I have a quick question for you. And this is a focus group for this podcast. How many of you all were in Jack and Jill? Raise your hands.
I think if you're not using.
Now, here's what she's about to do, which I find to be a pretty despicable thing to do.
What is Jack and Jill?
I think it's like some boule, like a sorority fraternity. Here, you know what? Should we? Here, let me just see. I think it has to do with that, because everything else that they're talking about, membership organization of mothers and children ages 2 to 19, founded in 1938 by African-American mothers to provide a social, cultural, and educational environment for Black children. It aims to nurture and nurture future African American leaders through programs focused on leadership development, community service, and philanthropic giving. Membership is by invitation, and its chapters focus on activities like cultural awareness, education, development, and civic engagement. Founded in Philadelphia. Its mission to nurture future African American leaders by strengthening children through leadership development, volunteer service, and philanthropic giving, and civic duty. Okay. So what she's about to try to do is let's just hear what she has to say.
Or have any sorority or fraternity affiliation? Raise your hands. How many of you all are in the links? I quit. I was in the links. How many of you all are in the Boulé? Raise your hands. I'm doing that because
now that's Gillum up there in the top. I forget his first name. Andrew Gillum. I think he was a politician at some point, and I think he got chased out by AIPAC or something because he wasn't bending the knee to the Canadians. You know what I'm saying? So what she's trying to do is trying to say that she's trying to separate herself from the Boulé when one of the people on there is in the Boulé and then this other one over here. So I think she's trying to separate herself or try to answer for the elitism part of this argument is what I think she's trying to do. She's trying to like set the table. All right.
It sounds
Andrew was a
Say what?
It sounds like she did the opposite though.
That's kind of what ended up happening. So gaslighting 101, I guess, right? What I just saw, I didn't see him raise his hand, and then you just said that you were in one of the programs that you spoke of. But okay, let's go.
most relatable person to them per their own commentary, and Andrew's the only one who was in the Boulé. We are not even in the Boulé, so we can label for stuff that we're not even in. But Tiff,
well, I didn't hear Charlamagne say that.
No, he didn't. He said Jack and Jill of y'all.
Yeah, yeah. But I want to say to set the record straight, because I hear what Charlamagne is saying, and I think a lot of comments echo that. My personal background aside, I want to say that as a journalist, before I bring up anything on this show, I want our viewers to know I have indeed done my due diligence. So I didn't just watch the clip. How I prepared for that segment, I didn't pay for Patreon, but I did read the transcript of.
Okay, so she said just watch the clip. She said she read the transcript.
What happened. I even understood the word in question that was tricky was allude. I understood that the conversation was about payment discrepancy. I spoke to Mark before I did the segment. I looked at literacy rates before I did the segment. I watched a few clips, or not clips, but segments, different segments from Joe Budden's podcast before I did the segment. And I will say, I stand by what I said. My perspectives and opinions don't sway in the winds of public opinion. Sometimes the cheese will stand alone. I do think there is very much a toxic landscape that is
toxic. How often do they use that word toxic? And when they use the word toxic, what is it usually accompanied by?
Nowadays, they almost use as much as they breathe.
And
it's usually followed up by masculinity.
Hang on to that, because that you might start feeling that here in just a second.
Fueled by a lot of podcast bros. But I definitely agree with you, Charlamagne. Before you have an interview with anybody, before you sit down and speak on something, I would advise anyone to be well informed, whether it's politics, sports, anything like that. And so I don't think that the issue was that the collective was not well informed. I don't think that was my perspective. I think the issue that a lot of people felt is they felt attacked. And so
they felt attacked.
Because they were attacked.
Thank you, Broken Blade. Thank you, Broken Blade. They were attacked. They didn't just feel attacked. They were attacked. But go on ahead and gaslight us some more, Ms. Cross. Go ahead.
So I want to be clear that I wasn't saying who was an intellectual and who was not. My perspective was there is an anti-intellectual movement ravaging the Black community.
Now, that's not what you said. She said that he shouldn't even be over there and they don't have serious enough conversations for him to even be over there. He's wasting his time.
And what movement?
That's a very good question. Very good question.
I also want to be clear that I was not saying that no one should talk to Flip or Joe Budden. Certainly somebody should. Someone should be reaching out to them. That's not my ministry. Things I care about are the incarcerated and puppies. Most
Wait.
Someone should be reaching out to them. That's not my ministry. Things I care about are the incarcerated and puppies. Most importantly, pit bulls. I don't like that tens of thousands of them get euthanized every month. It breaks my heart. I think about the incarcerated all the time. I don't want our Black men and women in prison thinking they're forgotten about.
Do you remember, like the first year we started working together. I brought up the allegory of how women argue as like kung fu swordsmen.
Yeah. Yeah.
All over
Yeah.
the place.
Yeah.
As a distraction.
Yeah. Yeah. Pit bull puppies, bro. She cares about the incarcerated and pit bull puppies. That's what she cares about. That's what she says.
Bringing up with puppies in the conversation about you being condescending to another podcaster.
Yeah. But them pit bull puppies, though.
What the fuck?
I think it's a bit arrogant of me to say, Angela, Bakari, Andrew, y'all should be talking to the incarcerated. That's not their ministry. But if Angela feels like, no, those are the people, or you, Charlamagne, if you feel like.
Okay. So check this out. So all she cares about is the incarcerated and pit bull puppies. But the only reason we're here is because she was giving her opinion on whether or not Mark Lamont Hill should have been on the Joe Budden podcast. Now, that's not pit bull puppies, nor is that incarcerated, but you still gave your opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
No, those are the very people I want to be speaking to. Then by all means, go do that. I'm saying it's hard to fill a cup that's already full. So if I'm telling you something and you're insulting me for my intelligence, I don't need to be where fools gather. So I stand on what I said. I'm not disrespecting any of them, but I just want to be clear. Our viewers know I never come on this podcast ever with.
Yeah, you just did.
Out being very well informed.
Go ahead.
Made a deleted statement.
Yep.
Multiple sneak disses there.
Yep. Like we weren't supposed to notice.
But just he feels some type of way.
Feels, yeah. And she said what she said.
Good luck to y'all.
And researched and fact checked, and a fact check is not a 30-second Google search before I come on this show. It takes a lot of work to prepare for anything I introduce, and I would hope that we all do that.
My only criticism of us, I think, as we approach these discussions, is that a part of that intellectual curiosity that we all must have, we must be able to.
This video was created.
Intellectual curiosity. Now, what does that have to do with saying he's too smart to be over there with those N-words?
And that being our immediate posture to it. And one of the things that I saw in the comments, and one of the things that I saw when Joe Budden was making those comments, is we want to be individuals that people come to. It's in our phrase, it's welcome home, that feel as if there is a comfort level to come in to our doors and hear the things we have to say. And whether or not we're talking about it from a respect perspective or intellect perspective, I think that throughout that conversation, it's not that we can't sit out here and be like, I'm sorry you felt that way, because that's like human gaslighting. We have to acknowledge.
But that's what she just said. Is that not what she just said?
Exactly what she just said.
Okay. Thought I was tripping. All right. Let's thank you, Bakari.
That there were people who felt foreclosed from a conversation because of our tone, tenor, vocabulary, and how do we make sure that these are some of the people that we do want to.
I just noticed her in the camera. Hold on. Listen to watch her body language here. I'm gonna make this bigger. Watch her body language when he's talking. Hold on.
That we can't sit out here and be like, I'm sorry you felt that way, because that's like human gaslighting. We have to acknowledge that there were people who felt foreclosed from the conversation because of our tone, tenor, vocabulary, and how.
Hold on.
Hit dogs holler. Hit dogs holler.
Hit dogs will holler here.
That feel as if there is a comfort level to come in to our doors and hear the things we have to say. And whether or not we're talking about it from a respect perspective or intellect perspective, I think that throughout that conversation, it's not that we can't sit out here and be like, I'm sorry you felt that way, because that's like human gaslighting. We have to acknowledge that there were people who felt foreclosed from a conversation because of our tone, tenor, vocabulary.
She had to move the microphone.
And how do we make sure that these are some of the people that we do want to reach, or at least I want to reach? That may not be everybody's ministry, but I would like to have some of those listeners from Joe that are like, maybe we can come over there too. Maybe there's an hour we can spend there too, and that may never happen. But that's just kind of my perspective on it. And I feel like the only other thing that I felt was like weird, and I know we don't do that and we fixed it, but I was glad that we didn't necessarily stick with using that Joe Budden in the title. And y'all had my face. It was handsome, but we had like Joe Budden in the title
because they did a sleazy job. They put him in the middle and made him big, and was basically like basically Joe Budden podcast is responsible for the dumbing down or the attack on intellectualism. That was the whole gist of it. Like the Joe Budden podcast, like they're responsible for the dumbing down of the Black community and such. That was like the whole gist of, and they put his face, like made him front and center on thumbnail.
That's crazy.
Right? So let's.
I don't know a lot about Joe, but I'm assuming it's like an entertainment type show.
Yeah, man. They talk about
on the part of like Theo.
Movies. Yeah, they talk about movies. Yeah. Not even so much about movie. They generally only talk about like kind of pop culture, like movies, music, current artists, stuff that's going on now. They don't even really do like reactions or stuff like that.
These bitches.
And then they put him up front to take the heat for the insult that they threw. So they didn't throw rocks and hide their hands. They threw a rock and then put him in the front.
So basically, Joe Budden, just like Theo Coop, they're the evolution of the radio morning show.
Absolutely.
All those shows are there for is to entertain.
Absolutely.
The fuck are they on about?
Because I think that there is a jealousy there. I think Joe Budden does make up into the hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on his Patreon, but they're potting every like 6 days a week for 3, 4, 5 hours. Like they're really like working, and they're really, and which is not an easy thing to do. So he's earned the right to be able to do whatever he's able to do. And I think that what happens is I think that these people don't see the numbers, or they don't see the type of movement that they would like to see, and they get jealous. And I think that what that was a jealous response because, this is only my opinion. I'm only speculating, but I imagine that they're upset that the dude that we were talking about, the gentleman in question, is getting so much buzz and pub over there, and they're just trying to find something wrong with it. And so they're poking holes in like, why is he even over there when, even though it's controversial, he's holding his own over there and he's bringing a different element to that podcast. And because in my opinion, I believe they hate men. I think that they were just like, because it's so easy to punch us and kick us and talk smack about us, that I think that they went saying what they were saying, and then there was some blowback, because I think that black men are like, yo, and Joe Budden was like, yo, what? He's like, why am I catching strays? Yeah. He's too good to be over here talking to us. Like, we're millionaires. What are you talking about? Like, we're black, like we're not too good. We're black entertainers. Like, we're self-made everything. Who the fuck are, like, who are you? Like, and he said this, like, I've never even said your name. I don't even know who you are. Angela Rye. Like, what, why do you even got my name in your mouth? And that was his point.
Which sounds like the video I just did.
Mm-hmm.
On the
I'm
YouTube
gonna get to
page.
that, B. Don't be trying to scoop me, B.
I told him.
Now, and they're thinking it's a joke, but it's not a joke. Like, it's not funny, actually. Like, you used his likeness and you insulted a bunch of people, and you put him at the front of it without his permission.
Angela that too. I was like, yo,
No, but I'm just saying, but it was my face, and I didn't know it. I just felt like,
I didn't
damn.
Well, but see, they're laughing though, like it's funny. Anyway, and they had to take it down. Joe Budden complained to YouTube. They had to take it down. They had to take the video down, and they had to take his down. They had to cut it out.
sell his face.
Description, because I don't have no clue.
No problem. So we had our thumbnail. What Bakari's talking about is the thumbnail for last week's show said Joe Budden's podcast and the dumbing down of America. And Bakari's standing there in the middle.
And the dumbing down of America. There was what it is? The Joe Budden podcast and the dumbing down of America.
Getting the haze up. He didn't haze up for another 2 months. So he was in the middle of it. And I think that what we did.
He wasn't in the middle of it. You put him in the middle of the thumbnail, in the middle of the thing.
All the brain rot shit out there. Couple of black folks cracking jokes to keep people entertained. That's what's dumbing down America.
Wait. Oh, we're coming up on it. We're coming up on it.
Wrong, and I do want to apologize to Joe Budden's podcast, to their team, to their production company for that title. I'm an EP.
How about you apologize to the man on the panel whose image you used
on the show, and so I own that wholeheartedly. We should have titled it differently. Maybe they wouldn't have looked at it, but they got us back. They got the whole podcast taken down for copyright infringement because we actually used their clip. They only took that clip out. It's still under challenge. We reposted it without the clip. But I would just say to them, well played, but I do apologize for titling the podcast.
Well, maybe
not for using my co-host's image in that suspect behavior, but just to them for being mad at us for doing it.
For that purpose, though. I mean, the conversation we had was about the dumbing down.
But I think that what they took offense to is that it looked like we were saying that they are responsible for the dumbing down.
Well, that's what the
It was clickbaity. It was clickbaiting.
That's what I'm saying. It looked clickbaity. I feel like
we all apologize.
Thanks, Tiff. High five.
Well, I don't apologize. One, I don't necessarily credit all of us with wanting to be curious. I think we have to declare that for ourselves and then act that way if it's a true statement. Two, definitely, I'm never confused about what perspective you're coming from because you kind of stated very clearly every time you say a thing, and it is often clear, I think, to the audience. You know, how y'all have relatives or uncles or friends who you're like, they don't suffer fools. Like, that's just not the uncle you're going to go to bring up that kind of mess
Uncle
with.
Tiff. Native Land Pod is
Now, that was just one clip. They ended up getting into a bit of a argument back and forth with Tiffany Cross, and I'm going to skip that part because we've heard people argue before and gaslight before, but I wanted to get to this part right here because you know how I feel about the N-word, Broken Blade. I can't stand the word. I think it's so disrespectful. I think it's demeaning. I think it should be taken completely off the table. You know, ERAAH, however the hell you want to spell it. I can't stand the word. I think there's no way you can take away the meaning of it. And in my honest opinion, people that say that, oh, we took back the meaning of it are not smart. That's the nicest way I'm gonna be able to say it.
Well, like you said, like how many times have you heard that one black man to another and it's been positive?
Very seldom. Like I said, there's a couple examples that I can point to specifically where someone absolutely used it as a term of endearment, but those situations are few and far between. And the person that uses that particular word in that instance really does use it as a term of endearment. Even though it's disrespectful as hell, you could tell that that person really means it in a loving way. Unfortunately, the rest of the world doesn't agree. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, where I will say that I have heard an example of it being used in not a positive, in a loving way, the vast 99.9999999% of the time and percent of the people, oftentimes it has a negative connotation. Even if it's like, oh, my friend, my N-word is still like referring to him and some shenanigans. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not a very respectful word. So this is partially what I was talking about earlier, because now these are supposed to be the intelligent ones, right? This is intelligentsia. These are the highly, you know, this is where the intellect is supposed to be, right? Okay.
Supposedly.
All right. Let's let them show you how positive they really are. Because again, you're claiming that this other group and they are just like this low brow, low intelligent, low level intelligence But then, listen.
If we're saying, Leonard, you raised it, you thought we were saying we meant academic when we said intellectual, and I don't think any of us think that. Is there a way that we're defining, and I'm saying we are very loosely because we all clearly have very different opinions here, but is there a way that you're hearing any of us describe or define intellectual that is striking you as more academic? And if you can't explain that, that would be helpful.
I mean, I think the whole conversation, but that's what's
intellectual versus academic.
It's the same fucking thing.
Semantics. I mean, could you say, and I'm not trying to make a difference or whatever, because I think it's semantics. I think that they're trying to weasel their way out of what they said, to be honest. One could say an academic might be maybe more, you could say, if you had to separate the two, you could say, okay, maybe an academic might be like a book smart individual, where versus an intellectual potentially could be like self-taught philosopher type vibes. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's the only difference I can say that I could even put on that. And I'm stretching just to make it fit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So let's hear what Leonard has to say.
so interesting because Mark isn't on that show to be an academic. You know what I'm saying? Mark is on that show talking about pop culture. Mark is on that show talking about, women. Like, he's just talking about regular things that they would normally be talking on that show. And
Now, he gave some descriptors, right? He's like, he's pop culture, women, okay.
Conversation, turns to something that might be around social justice or, activism or, politics. Then he comes in and he's Mark Lamont Hill, the academic. But I think a lot of us look at Mark a certain way. And him and Flip can have that brotherly, kerfuffle, that back and forth, because that's how they get down on the show. Like, they talk about things that happen behind the scenes. They bring it to the podcast and they're able to have those type of interactions. But that wasn't an academic debate, like to where Mark was using some, 15-letter words and Flip was confused about the words. That was just some nigga shit. To be completely honest.
We clear.
Well,
Hold on. It gets better.
We talked about that because I heard from a lot of men who are Joe Budden podcast listeners, and what they said to me, Leonard, is there are so few spaces for Black men to gather. There are so few spaces where Black men can go and exhale and be themselves. And what they said is, that Mark Lamont Hill and Flip exchange is so common. They're like, Tiffany, that's happening everywhere, across barbershops right now, on street corners everywhere. And the intimation was, and I receive it, but the intimation was you were weighing in on something that you don't touch. You're weighing in on a culture of that exists between Black men that you are outside of.
Right, that's exactly what they said. Which is why we now apparently share a vagina. We're the same person, and why all of what Tiff said, I also said. They can't even distinguish between the two of us because they're like, why y'all?
So Angela caught a lot of strays for things I said, but I did receive what Black men were saying. And they were saying, like, don't you do some, like, ignorant shit? Because they acknowledge, like, some ignorant shit on that show, but so what? It's our ignorant shit, and it's for us. And
I didn't look at it as a gender thing at all. It was literally just a Black.
Well, you wouldn't.
Yeah, it was just a Black community.
I caught that
thing to me. It was like, yo, man, if we're trying to build community and we need community now more than ever, like, it's not even about knocking the platform. I don't think you should knock the platform, but don't knock Mark's role on that platform, because I think Mark's role on that platform is very important. I think when you command the type of audience that Joe Budden has for all the type of issues that will be coming up and have been coming up over the last 10 months and will be coming up for the next few years, you need somebody like him in that space.
My biggest beef with our conversation about it was I felt like we may have positioned Mark as like the guy fighting out of the corner, to keep his hive. And I was thinking, which is why I said I wish we could interpret what we think is being said. And I think where we ended the conversation was like, each of those men knew exactly what was being said, what shot was being fired across which bow, and they were prepared to meet each other at that respective place. There were no fools. There was no confusion about the words exchange or anything like that. I just felt like each man met the moment for what they had going on, for the exchange that was going on. And I heard directly from a good friend of mine, he's a lawyer, came, it was family homecoming, he rescued me out of my corpus of a house and basically was like, look, man, I'm just saying, I know it's some shit that I'm listening to. That's why I listen to it. Yeah. And at the same token, he's subscribing to NPR every morning and is listening.
If it's such a not that big of a word, why did he just mumble it under his breath like that, you think? Like, we know it's not a good word.
Yeah.
Like, we know it's bad. We know it's ignorant. Right, but it's like you're like proving a point though, or something. I don't know. Let's continue.
So it doesn't even have to be a fight amongst hegemons. Like, I'm listening to the smartest thing versus the thing you're listening to. It's not how he got down with it at all. It was like, it's some nigga shit, and I love it, and that's why I listen to it. But I love y'all too. And I listen to
shit on the Native Land podcast, and that's the thing that I guess frustrates me the most. All of y'all some niggas. Every one of y'all. I know y'all. Every single.
I hate that word so much.
Thing that I guess frustrates me the most. All of y'all some niggas. Every single one of y'all. I know y'all. Every single one of y'all.
So I'm sitting over here in the corner like I don't even know what we.
I'm signed up.
And even when you look at the conversation.
I find this to be a huge blind spot. I just can't get my head wrapped around how so many alleged intelligent people can't see how this is a problem.
That was happening. Look how the audiences intersect. There's people who listen to Native Land who listen to Joe. People who listen to Joe who listen to Native Land. So that lets you know that y'all are not far from each other in any way, shape, or form. So
I think that was my
Bakari,
problem.
you didn't get the briefing on not cutting people off in the middle of the damn point.
If I don't cut nobody off to make a point, then I'm gonna just be Tiffany and Angela over there talking about I share one vagina. Like I want to clear too.
That was crazy. You got the point.
Hey, go ahead, Bakari.
Leonard, you were the one that allegedly has a heart out.
Go ahead, Bakari, and then we'll go ahead, Bakari, and then Leonardo closes.
No, I just want to make sure. I want to make sure that listeners know that I don't think we say this, and I
So, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
Even the topic side, this podcast is insufferable. First of all, thinking back on an old radio show called Opie and Anthony. Something brought up many times on that show. Like, okay, there are funny female comedians out there.
Mm-hmm.
In our careers of radio, we have not found one interesting female DJ. Not one. That's stupid. They found one, but she got fired for being interesting. Yeah. she did the show drunk as hell. It was funny.
So she needed to be drunk to be interesting.
I don't know necessarily just that particular day. She just shit faced.
Yeah, and then they couldn't have that. So this is the controversial Eggs and Grits podcast. Now this guy is a pander bear, in my honest opinion.
Yeah.
And so the controversy is that this girl did a music video and they called it Sexy Solon. That's the name of the song. Now, Solon is some of the FBA brothers, if I'm not mistaken, in maybe Philly. They Solon, I believe, can be traced back to being one of the kind of original tribes here in North America of Black people. And so Solon has become interchangeable with FBA or Freedmen and so on. Okay.
Gotcha.
Out of nowhere, this girl comes out of nowhere with this song, and all of her management and everybody are tethers. They're like Nigerians. And they have connections to the DNC. So what I believe is happening is that the DNC has recognized that there is a foundational Black American, this delineation movement that's happening. And I believe that they're trying to co-opt the movement. And with this music video, Sexy Solon was full of all of the stereotypical Black woman and Black people tropes. And I guess there was another podcaster named Conscious Lee who's also had some suspect behavior as far as, and stuff about Black Americans. And so Tariq Nasheed, actually, when he saw the video, he was kind of like, something about this ain't right. Like it didn't hit like I think that they expected it to hit. Like a lot of us were kind of looking at the music video being like, we don't like
we've seen how DNC moves without us there.
100%.
Praise
100%.
God, they can't fake the funk.
No, we can tell. We can tell. Like, we can tell when it's not authentic. We can tell that, like, oh, wait a minute. You know, where again, Tariq has gotten really good. Like, Tariq sniffing out tethers is just about as good as Kevin Samuels became at sniffing out baby mamas. Dead serious. Where's your family from? You know, like he has it. He has it down. He's getting good, because now I think like these patterns are starting to show up. And so, yeah, shout out to Solo Dolo. Consciously is a Democrat shill and new Roland Martin. See, so he was in her video, and it's got all those typical tropes, and everybody was kind of like, yeah, we're really not feeling your video. So it didn't hit the way they expected it to. And then, so she comes on this podcast and says this stuff. And then people go back and do the research, and they find out that, oh, her manager is Nigerian and is like, worship the white woman. Like, they pulled up his old Twitter, which he has recently taken down or hidden, and basically has called us all the Akadas and all the black bees and black business and all the nasty stuff that Africans say about foundational Black Americans. He did all of those plus. Okay, so yeah, manager was talking crazy for sure. So this is the podcast that is kind of in question, that really raised a lot of red flags, and kind of part of what I was telling you, just the disrespect and that word that I don't like so much. And I wanted to just document this, because this is kind of what we're talking about when we talk about the disrespect. Where's my fair use banner? Let me put this fair use banner on here so I can. All right, let's let this rock real quick, because this is the degenerate behavior that I'm talking about.
Podcast.
This was made by one of the cousins. So the Patreon, Patreon. So
it's $8.
Go ahead and do a little promo real quick.
Make sure I get the Grits and Egg podcast on Patreon. It's $8.
That's too. She got your whole shit now. No, you really be fucking with me.
Replace me. Replace him with me.
Yeah. She said, I said do the Patreon promo. She's talking about something. Number $8.
Get the Patreon for real. Support.
Let's do a quick. I'm gonna do a quick criticism of the king, bro. You ain't have to do all that, nigga. We thought you was gonna retire. Why the fuck did you do all that to say you going Henny VSOP? You could have did that on IG Live, my nigga. Yeah, we ain't need all that. We was gonna drink it anyway.
He don't play. He's working.
He's working. First of all, time get on y'all ass. If that shit with AI, we gonna have a problem. Cause I ain't gonna lie, when I check it out today, shit look a little AI.
It look AI?
Like, we just gonna say fuck South Memphis like that? All right, so check me out though. So a common theme in hip hop is death.
Right.
So you had me a little shook with the intro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, what we doing? Okay. We can't be doing the Biggie. You know what I'm saying? We can't be going Tupac. We just got. So I'm like, where's she at right now?
Right.
What we got going on? But then I'm thinking about, okay, background mortuary science. Maybe this is
My bad. I thought I had it keyed up at the right spot.
pushing me forward. They looking out for me. Started the part in my truck.
Okay.
For real, like,
for real.
it's a real dining room. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like, really get that off. I was like, don't say that at school.
At all. Ever.
Don't say it to your white teacher.
Not gonna do that.
Please.
20s.
Early 20s.
Early 20s. Same.
Early 20s. Africa bought money shit. Like,
Jesus.
I'm telling niggas like, Africa based off the movement of your soul. Okay? So you niggas not redefining that. Okay? I think the most important thing about being a Black American is, I also love the fact that you included all the flags throughout the diet.
This narrative about you that you're so biased against certain things, but
You're new on Earth. You're very new to Earth.
well,
You know what I'm saying? You are pre-9/11.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The internet was a thing and then you was born.
Yeah.
Develop it.
Yeah, no.
I'm trying to do the knowledge though.
No,
There's a lot to catch up on.
No, listen, I'm telling you, this
And
right
then
here.
the more, the longer I live, the more I'm like, hold on, I have to unlearn shit that I've been taught and relearn what actually really took place.
You did.
It's a lot of unlearning and learning that's taking place. At the
So
same
yeah,
time.
and then you at 24, you don't want to know what type of nigga I was. I was
you
not doing
doing
knowledge. It was like, sleep.
But you're not in the bar, you on the street.
I was one of the niggas I was talking about. That's why I know how to talk about y'all.
That's how
I
you
was
know.
you.
You gotta explain that to people because I feel like people paint this narrative about you that you're so biased against certain.
Do that.
How you know?
So, when I
Exactly.
got 3 children.
Emphasis on.
I read 90 days. You feel me? She knew shit. That's weird. About the sex salon though. So I love the way you approach it, right? I love how you tailored it to yourself with the pink Black American Heritage flag. But I also love the fact that you included all the flags throughout the diaspora.
Okay.
I think the thing that I don't like about FBA and ADOS is it seeks to isolate us as African Americans, as people who are descendants of slaves. You, because Salon is actually in that same lineage, like it's the same textbook definition. People who are indigenous descendants of slaves, specifically in America, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But without the segregation, it's an inclusion, right? There's a soul, you know, soul that like it's a whole thing, right?
See what's happening here?
60s, 1960s during the Black Panther movement.
Correct.
Soul food, soul train, soul people.
That part, right?
That whole thing. But also I noticed that there's some revisions being made and there's these borders being put up around that term.
Yeah, but
People
you can't change. Okay, hold on, let's do this real quick. If you're not really doing knowledge, you can't read. You don't be a cracker. Okay, you can't change the meaning of things. The men who created this term made it with intention about people who are African American, descendants of slaves, Black American descendants of slaves that have a culture that is rich here in America based off the movement of your soul. Okay?
No, 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 no. It's blood, sweat, and tears here on this soil, foundational to the country. Not how you felt, not your soul. It is our forefathers that built this country. Some that got hung in trees, some that are, you know, built in the foundations of some of the buildings that are in New York, railroads, bridges, plantations, slave farms. We were here. That's what makes us freedmen, Solon, FBA, ADOS, because we were here, not because we felt the way.
So you niggas not redefining that. Okay?
Now, does he sound
just
like
what you're trying to do? As with seemingly everyone.
Do you think he was that when he dropped that N-word just a second ago? Was he using it as a term of endearment? Nah, he looked like he was chastising us, but okay.
I think the most important thing about being a Black American is with the global presence that we have in our culture, with the copycatting that happens in our culture, with the denial of our culture, it's up to us to like morally take a high road when it comes to certain shit. So like being xenophobic doesn't help anybody.
Morally take a high road. Huh.
Right? No, being exclusionary of other cultures throughout the diaspora, even if sometimes y'all do that to us, that ain't our role. It's not our role. Because I'm not combating hate.
Not our role.
Well, hate other Black people.
Absolutely not. It's not our agenda.
I'll go fuck Europe every day.
What you mean?
I don't even fuck with Black Brits, real.
Yeah.
Not real Brits. But the Black Scots, yeah, we fuck with my dog. Yeah. We locked in. Fuck the Red Coats. Yeah, fuck them. Yeah. Fuck them. The British are coming. Yeah, fuck them. Huh? What's that nigga named Paul Revere? Paul Revere. Yeah, fuck him. He was trying to put you niggas down. Yeah. He was putting you on. British are coming, man. They're the only Blacks I don't fuck with. Okay. British Blacks. You're a little too close to the colonization. Yeah. You're a little too close to it. Okay. You where it started. You know what I'm saying? But I say this. The way that you were intentionally very inclusive is what we need to do, especially like people that are going to be leading the next generations. You know what I'm saying? I represent the millennial, you represent Gen Z. Yep. But it's important for us to push a connected diaspora and not.
Broken Blade, do you think that pushing a collective, narrative amongst the diaspora has been helpful for us?
No, sir.
I mean, go ahead.
Many that many Black women that have gone to African countries, married Black men, built houses there, they get murked so those men can live in those houses, will agree with us. I think the many FBA men and women that have gone to an African country that try to build businesses there, try to buy land there, only to get scammed out of these things, will also agree with us.
Do you think that they all get together and say, hey, we're going to not only do that, but we're going to undermine the Blacks in this country too? How do they know to do that?
Maybe it's in their soul. Maybe it's just how they feel.
You might be onto something, Broken Blade. you might be onto something. They get talking spicy here. I thought I found that part, but hold on.
A separated one. It's a lot of times the older millennials. Sometimes it be millennials, period, and then sometimes it be them Gen Xers that be pushing from all cultures this like segregated Blackness. I don't fuck with that. We not fucking with that.
Yeah.
Ever. If we not connected, what is the difference?
Yeah.
Besides the boat stop, what is the difference?
What's the difference?
Because you can see.
What is the difference?
Please pull us over.
Listen.
Are they asking? Are you Jamaican?
If everybody, they ain't asking none of that.
They're not asking that.
You think them ICE ain't asking that? You think they asking that?
Who the fuck they just did in Chicago?
Okay, you did. You think they care about the niggas
They
Haitians or
was
Jamaicans?
immigrants or not?
Go to New York and try to get a cab. You know who knows how to distinguish? Those African cab drivers. They know the difference. You know who else knows the difference? Shade Room and all those other websites. Because when you're a foundational Black American, they'll put your mugshot up, talk all kinds of smack about you, but let you be a Haitian or a Jamaican or a Ghanaian, anything, and let something bad happen. That doesn't even make it into the blogs. They understand, right? So we're supposed to forget all of that just because we're all the same N-word. You know what? Ubuntu, when you get pulled over, you're gonna have to figure that out on your own. As far as I'm concerned.
Get it where you live.
Yeah, you're on your own. That's how I feel about it. And I hope your papers are straight because I'm calling ICE. But let's let them continue talk some because they're getting real comfortable. They're a couple shots deep now.
I don't care.
It was just like, fuck y'all. Everybody like, fuck y'all.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
So I'm on that same timing though. I don't care.
I
I don't care nothing about what Ben said about me. I don't care nothing about what we done said about you. You gotta lock the fuck in. Because the thing is like you can see the similarities in the cuisine. You can see the similarities in dance.
I don't care about none of that, dog. I want policy, player. Policy. I don't give a shit about no jerk chicken. I don't care.
Reparations to the anti-black hate crime bill, at least.
We can start there. But for some reason, for
black males.
But see, all this connectivity that they keep talking about, right? It's their people or these other people that keep undermining the cause. So I would ask him, I'd be like, bro, so why is all these Haitian Americans and all these Jamaican Americans shooting down reparations? Talk about lock in. Are you talking to them? Are you talking to them? You're talking about lock in. Oh, we're supposed to lock in, right? So let's lock in. Why you got Byron Donalds out there talking about we don't need reparations? Okay. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Black families a tenth of the wealth. We've proven over and over and over and over and over again that black people are discriminated against. But these knuckleheads are going to cut their nose off to spite their man. I wish you would, but they get real spicy.
That's why, like, they got their own way they put that shit down. The same way, like, they got their own lingo. The same way they got in Houston. Don't talk like a nigga from Atlanta. Don't talk like a nigga from Birmingham. Don't talk like a nigga from
Charlotte, Florida.
It's a diaspora, nigga.
We got our own thing.
No, it's not. They got tribes over there. We got tribes over here. But here's the thing. You take a dude from Houston, take him up to Philly. All respect, right? You take a dude from LA, take him to New York, all respect, right? They know how to move like real ones. We're not talking about knuckleheads. We're talking about real ones. Yeah. You move into a city like, you go to a place and you're like, yo, I'm not from here. I got to respect the rules and regulations and the people that are around here. And I don't mean like no checking in, stuff like that, right? Yeah. I mean, like, you're not going to go to a place and act ignorant and be stepping on everybody's toes. You're like, I know I'm in somebody else's backyard or neighborhood. I'm going to come here with respect.
Yeah.
Right. But the Africans, are they doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like trying to make them the same is not the same, because again, we keep opening doors and then getting spit on and being like, bro, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Oh, I get it. See, they're not talking to her Nigerian manager, who literally on his Twitter is like, I love white women. Got to get me on that white women. They're so much better than everything else. I don't mess with these black bees, these Akata bees.
Yeah, is that locked in?
Is that locked in? You freaking hypocrite. But see, and to bring it full circle, Broken Blade, to what I was kind of talking about, this is who the DNC pushes and promotes, right? This is what the DNC pushes and promotes. This girl that's got, look at her mouth. Look at her mouth.
We white folks spread us out.
And we can appreciate that.
What is all gold? What are we doing? What are we doing? So this is who the DNC puts out in front of us as our representation. And this is who's sucking up all the air. This is who's sucking up all the oxygen. So instead of us talking about real causes and having entertainment that is fulfilling and spiritual and uplifting, we get twerk videos and gold grills from this. And then they're going to talk down to me when I'm like, hey, man, like, as a collective, us as a people, us, foundational Black Americans, us Blacks, we don't like how you represented us right there. That's not what that is.
Dr. West left the party.
Imagine that.
Are connected.
We are.
Nigga, the flags be fire. These are 5 flags.
Very
Really doing that
intricate.
one. You can tell, you know what I'm saying?
The design be so goddamn.
You got my tell Susan B. Anthony.
You're not recreating any flags, brother. That's not what this is. Like, you're not in a position, nor is your Nigerian manager or this girl here in any position to create any kind of flags or establish anything. You make twerk music and twerk videos. Stop it. Like, stop it. But see, they're trying to do the one thing that you just said. You said it earlier. You picked up on it. They're trying to rewrite and remix and change the definition of something and telling us that we can't define it at the same time. Crazy.
Hey, yo. I'm gonna tell, like, you can tell Susan B. Anthony. Yeah, cause like the African American heritage flag, like Black American heritage flag, that shit look like some nigga shit. Yeah, that's all do. You know what I'm saying? But
looks like some.
Tell Susan B. Anthony. Yeah, cause like the African American heritage flag, like Black American heritage flag, that shit look like some nigga shit. Yeah, that's all do. You know what I'm saying? But that's xenophobia. We're gonna keep that way. Stop. Because if we don't connect with each other,
wait, what's Susan B. Anthony got to do with the Black American?
Nothing at all. She got something to do with American.
Oh, okay. You see the difference between the American flag. Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Okay.
Do the knowledge. I put you down. Yeah.
Shout out to Charles and Gleason Jackson for creating the Black American heritage flag.
Shout out, y'all, bro.
We got some real fly shit.
No, that shit
To
hard,
represent
bro.
us.
That shit nice.
It's just fine.
I'm putting it out in front of my house.
It's fine.
Putting it out there. But I think the more important thing for us,
Broken Blade, do you think that creating another flag creates a little bit of confusion? I mean, maybe not, right? Because I mean,
No.
I know that, and I know that we have, you know, like the FBA flag, you know, the black one with the sword and whatever. I mean, I understand.
There's
Kind
another one, I think a red, white, and blue one with FBA. I forgot it has like the year of chattel slavery on it also.
So that absolutely means something. But do you think that it kind of causes it kind of almost creates distance between us and them, kind of a thing? Because I mean,
who's the them in this case?
No, that's a great question. That's kind of part of why I'm asking, right? Because, you know, I always feel like we have to. It's like people almost, they look at us weird if we walk around with an American flag, right? It's like you know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like I'm not supposed to have one, you know? And by creating all of these extra flags and alternative flags, does it create confusion where maybe not confusion for me, but confusion for those that are watching?
Let's see what you said. To me, it's kind of two-part, simple but two-part. Yes, but fuck them. Because like white people, Irish Americans walk around with the Irish flag, no problem.
Is there? I mean, but but that's a country, and it has its own, like that's their official flag. Do people really know what our flag is? Are they? I mean, is that a? You see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it's almost like it's almost like, does it have legitimacy?
Well, it has legitimacy if we treat it with legitimacy.
Okay.
My thing is, I kind of don't care like what they think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Let them be confused. If we know what it means and we respect that collectively on code, I'm with it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm only asking because I'm trying to get, because part of the reason why I think, you know, Tariq, you know, not only did he kind of like specify foundational Black American, but he also trademarked foundational Black American. Nice. But he did it to alleviate confusion.
And I like that because he seems to be moving in good faith in regards to that. I know there'd be some asshole like with ADOS,
yeah,
try to trademark it and start trying to peddle shit with it. So.
Make money off of it and all that madness. And that's not what. And again, you know, we haven't learned by now that when you start talking about groups and cliques and whatever is when you start making yourself a target. Let's see, over there, person. So, what's that?
Glad you brought that up. Like,
who's that?
Got mixed feelings about Trump apparently making street gangs terrorist cells. Like,
it was only a matter of time, bro.
That even does surface up there. I hope y'all see the play.
I don't think they do.
Which is
it's bro, it's terrifying. Because they didn't use that against the mafia. They didn't use that. Well, I guess they did, but they never actually used it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like on paper, they could have used it, but they never did. Right? And then what happens is what they don't realize is that by calling it a terrorist group that allows the government to go both guns blazing, like there's no whatever. And here's the thing: if you have a tattoo, if you have a gang, if you have any ink that has anything to do with any of those whatchamacallits, you can be lumped into that group.
And people did that to me. Like the first couple of years, people might be cool with it. At first, they going after actual gangs, Bloods, Crips, folk, whatever. After a while, like we know how somebody's going to overstep. Black folks going to try to defend themselves on the part. Detroit 300, Deacons of Defense. Another street gang, aka terrorists.
Every single time, bro. It's all you. You can't call yourself anything at this point. Like you really can't. Not at this point. Not openly.
Yeah. Not
openly. Yo, you got to be on that Freemason type ish, where it's like secret handshakes and code words, and that's it. Like that, all that, because they're trying to crack down. They're gonna find a way. This was this whole exercise was an opportunity for, and I think that one side realized that blacks were like not involved in this. And once they realize that and they start pushing those limits and those envelopes where normally black folks would jump in and be like, yo, you gotta chill. You can't just be rolling into town with tanks and stuff and like, you know, and asking people for their papers. Right. Because that was what we step up before that happens and we stop that. But since we didn't stop it because we're like, you know what, I'm tired of taking bullets for y'all. Y'all got to hold your own nuts. Now they're like, OK, cool. Bink. We knocked some of that off. So now we can move a little bit. Antifa. Right. So once we call Antifa a terrorist group, now, boom, got that in. But they're never going to really go after Antifa because those are white folks. But they are going to be like, you know what? Now we got MS-13. Nobody said anything. No takers. Cartels. No. Okay, no. Oh, we can blow up boats in international water. Nobody's going to say anything. No. Okay. All right, cool. Crips and Bloods. No, it's too late. It's too late. And we already see it, right? Like the Big U. The Rico down in the Hoover Rico in LA. They swooped up like 35 people, 40 people that day. Big U, the manager, rapper, he was the one that was having everybody check in LA. Shit, I think he was the one that pretty much ran Shaq out of LA. Shaq left LA because they kept trying to extort him. And he's like, I am not about to be out here getting extorted. Oh, that is not what's about to happen. So I think this fool talks crazy real quick. Let me get another 30 seconds or so. Otherwise, we'll be done with this.
Slide in front of your house.
Yeah, why not? That's we all right.
He's gonna know exactly who house they pulling up to. They drop by your shit.
Look for the flag. You know which one.
Look for the flag.
Salute that bitch.
You don't think that's hot?
It is super hot. I'm not flying from my house currently.
Okay.
But like
in due time, when you get your gate.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna have that flag flying. I'm gonna have a Nation in-law flag right next to it. Because FOI gonna be surrounding the building.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, it's gonna be black as fuck.
Cover.
No, we good. You know what I'm saying? I think the more important thing for us is like to push back against.
Now, does this sound? Does this feel like an intelligent dialogue?
Nothing I've heard to do sounds intelligent.
Right, like a helpful, useful, like some sort of a like learning. Are we learning anything from this outside of, N-word stuff?
No, sir.
Segregation, isolate ourselves, right? We can't isolate ourselves here in America when we have so much connection to other people. So to these younger generations and these thought leaders, like, we can't let old folks speak for us and how we feel, right? The people during the civil rights movement, they want to let old people speak for them. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had y'all established ways. This is the way I see America. This is the way I see it. This is the way we're gonna do it. And ain't gonna change. Yeah. Niggas following the rules don't change anything. So
thank you, Solo Dolo. I was thinking the exact same thing, because the old guard is not to be followed at this point. But this message ain't the message. This message ain't the message.
I don't care what you founded it on. If your intentions was pure, I feel that.
Yeah.
But if your intentions don't align with our modern morals, I can't fuck with it. So even if you're xenophobic, you made something that represent me and who I am. And I'm gonna let you niggas push that one over there, because we pushing this.
Exactly.
We pushing like
I think it's important
unity.
to encapsulate the time period. And right now in 2025, we not pushing any xenophobic rhetoric.
Well, the thing.
Isn't it interesting how they keep using that word?
What word?
Xenophobic.
Ah, yes.
This is a propaganda piece. This is a propaganda piece. Moses old. I hit 315 13 times today on the bench. That's snap, bro. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
6 wheels, huh? Yo, that's a big boy weight. How wait a minute. How Solo Dolo, how tall are you, bro? No homo. Just asking. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta be a lot of bro.
Say what?
You gotta be a lot of bro to be lifting 315.
Yeah, I mean, I've hit when I at my strongest. So let's see. Right now, as I sit, I'm about 195. I've been up to around 215 at my heaviest, and 215 at my heaviest, I was able to rep 315. But that was like younger, more sprightly Alvin. I was a much younger man then. That was a lot less. I was like late 20s, early 30s. And I was hucking that kind of weight. Now I don't really put no more than 225 on the bar, because I'm like, no more than that's necessary. And don't tell me when you weigh like 160, 157. Yeah, okay. Stocky former powerlifter. Okay, all right. I'm about to say. I'm like, that's a substantial amount of weight, sir. Congratulations. Shout out to Cody Marshall. What's up, bro? Anyways, we don't have to continue this, because all they're going to do is be more ignorant and talk smack. Again, my whole point about this whole thing is that we are behind enemy lines, gentlemen. The media is using us as punching bags and piñatas, and we can't allow people to demean us, and then we don't want to demean ourselves. And I think we need to be a little bit more media savvy, so that we understand that, we can't be giving these people fuel to demean us. Like it's hard enough as it is. Providing fuel for them to do it is just like not the move. It's not the thing. And we've got algorithms trying to kick our back in. We've got corporations trying to kick our back in. We've got the DNC trying to kick our back in. When have they ever done anything good for Black people? Please, I'm waiting. Tell me. Can somebody in the chat please tell me if or when the DNC has done something good for Black people? What have they done good for Black people? Please. I'll wait, because this is completely unacceptable as far as I'm concerned.
Was a JFK Democrat?
Was what?
Was JFK a Democrat?
He was a Democrat. I believe he was a Democrat. and I believe they got him up on out of here because
exactly.
because they were Dixiecrats, and I think that he was actually trying to do what Democrats pretend to say that they want to do. And they were like, oh, no. We just say that stuff. We don't really mean it. You're not really supposed to be doing X, Y, or Z. And that's kind of how that whole thing rocks. But that's all I had to say, man. I don't really have a lot more. I'm going to talk about the NBA tomorrow. I just wanted to make sure that, you know, we start to understand what's being done, you know, what's, you know, it seems honest on the surface, right? Oh, we're just talking. We're just having conversation. Oh, we're just talking. Nah, man. These cameras, these microphones are powerful. People, you know, and people will, if you say something that fits a narrative, you know, that'll get, you know, go viral. Think about that for a second, you know, versus like somebody that has something of some substance and they go, you know, they're screaming into the wind. You know, what happened to the conscious rapper? Oh, well, the conscious rapper just ain't getting no promo. The conscious rapper that's got the dopest lyrics and got the best, you know, vibes and the best this, that, and the other thing. There's no budget. You know, there's no budget. It's just Drake. Baby mama this, baby mama that. Strip club, bottle service. You know, God forbid somebody say something that's like, you know, remember Black Star, Mos Def, right? Talib Kweli. Used to listen to Talib Kweli all the time. Common tried to break through. He was broke through for a little bit, you know, pander rap, but it was pander rap. You know what I'm saying? Like when he was talking about the conscious stuff, he wasn't hitting like he probably should have been, you know? And even think about this, even NWA, even at the beginning, at least NWA, they weren't highlighting drug dealing or whatever. They were talking about these racist cops and talking about, you know, it's like, hey man, get these dudes off of us. Like they're breaking the law. Like they're breaking the law. Like that's what they were hollering about. But it turned from that to all my chains, all my this, all my that, you know, to what, Molly Percocet, Molly Percocet, right? Like, and then it went straight into freaking smoking on my ops. It just got worse. Right. But then you still have the La Russells in Oakland. You still got the, you know, they're still out there, but they don't have the budget. And people were like, well, why don't you make the conscious rap? People make the conscious rap. Who's paying for it? Who's paying for it? Who's distributing it? The Canadians. And y'all know who I mean. The Canadians. And guess what? They also have stock in prison. Case closed. So anyway, Broken Blade, anything you want to leave us with, bro, before we get up out of here?
Yeah, man. This has been a perfect example of why the Democrats are pretty well screwed. Unless Trump fucks up big time. Because they still have that mindset that he got in office only because of popular podcasts.
Yeah. They don't think they did anything wrong, do they?
Like this whole intellectual bubble, intellectual based on what? We have the receipts that many of you have gotten into these special colleges by bribing people. Many of these politicians, many of these high-profile people have bribed their way in. Have consultants altering their SAT scores to make it in some of these colleges. Furthermore, this is also further proof why I am a Christian. I have no, or should I say very little, faith in the flesh. Faith in logic will prevail in regards to, at least in regards to our women. We've watched 2 clips, which I'm assuming was from at least an hour-long podcast. Of women trying to deflect from the point they said something slick to somebody and they got pissed off about it, rightfully so. The plethora of issues in the black community, and you just can't say, okay, we want some bullshit, my bad.
Make a great point.
On. We got bigger things to deal with.
That's a great point.
In regards to these topics and this country at large, the whole FBA issue, foundational Black Americans are very peculiar people. No land, no tribe, and everyone seems to be obsessed with us.
It's crazy. A scripture comes to mind that seems to like fit us quite well to me. In regards to our history, Hebrews 12:6. For the Lord disciplines those he loves, and he punishes each one as he accepts as his child. We know our history. We've been thoroughly chastised. That's a fact.
Which makes me further believe that we have a special place in God's heart. He does care about us. There is a providence and protection over us. On the bright side of that, on top of being chastised, there are gifts that come along with being favored by God. Among them, discernment. I've heard about this video. I've never seen it. But yeah, it's becoming increasingly easy for us to see through these tethers, these spies, these saboteurs you keep sending our way. Also, I found myself from an episode of Family Guy, of all things. If you watch the show, you know, like everybody shits on Meg Griffin, the daughter of the family, needlessly. This episode, like a hurricane hit, they were all locked in the house, and she finally just told them all about themselves. Just put everything on the table about what shitty people they were being to her. And the family fell the fuck apart. Everybody was arguing with each other. In the end, she realized she was the linchpin of the family. The stone that the builder refused was the keystone that kept their family somewhat functional. So for the sake of keeping the family functional, she apologized to all of them, gaslit herself into going back into their place just so some order can be restored in the family.
Damn.
I bring that up because we're not apologizing.
Nah.
That's not happening.
Nah.
The things that you have done to my ancestors, to our ancestors, to us, and continue to do, and refuse to fully acknowledge it.
Very valid point.
We are not saving y'all. Y'all get it where you live. I'll let my plane there.
Shout out to Broken Blade. Amen, bro. Real talk. Real talk. You made a whole bunch of very, very, very valid and interesting points. And I never really thought of it that way too. It's like the linchpin of the family, like the you know, it's like you gotta just take all the just so that everybody else can feel good. Yeah, that's crazy. Nah, man, I'm over that.
Overly like
over that. I'm telling you, bro. I've had to I've had to take a couple of deep breaths. I am in because the internet's crazy. It's like all these people keep making all these like idle threats, and I'm like, oh, feeling froggy, all these people attack children and women. Come mess with somebody your size, please. Like all of these tough talking people. Yeah. Like I'm about that action. I'm tired of the talking, and it's like to just see the keyboard warriors and the people like this that are gonna sit there and like we ain't on this, and y'all N-words this, and y'all N-words that, and y'all N-words this, and it's like, hey, bro, like don't let me. Anyway, shout out to everybody. What's up, Cody Marshall? How are you doing, sir? Shout out to Jerome, Braxton, Solo Dolo, all my brothers. I talked to Uncle D. I'm gonna set up a time for him to come through. He's gonna do a special guest appearance. I'm gonna try to make a big deal out of it so we can have a little bit of a hangout. But he's trying to get to bed early. He's got that youngster. I think he's trying to get him ready for life. It feels like the youngest is a little bit behind. So so shout out to him, man. It's beautiful. Absolutely, man. Building confidence in the young man. Yeah. You can already see the confidence in him. It's been a pleasure to see. It's comforting to see. People need to see more of that. I think I know what it's like to have a father that cares, or to see love and progress and seeing growth. I know, like, I think there's a lot of people that aren't used to seeing that, especially coming from a Black father. So I really I'm glad that Uncle D has decided to share his personal life with the internet, because that's a risk. That's a risk. You put your family, you put your everything in danger. And the only way you can really do that is if you write your own ticket, because these people will take it away from you if you don't, And
also,
so,
to be fair, shout out to him. He's raising warriors.
Absolutely. I was watching a couple. The oldest one, not Roman. Is it Dennis? Dennis is the oldest.
Yeah, the junior. Yes, that's third.
Dropped somebody the other day on a clip that I think even the dude that he was fighting, thought that he had the drop on him. And he pulled a switcheroo and ended up on his back. And Dennis nice. Did it. So I think he's lightweight country strong. So shout out to him, man. And shout out to Uncle D, but he says hello. He misses you guys and sends you his heartfelt love. He really does. When I talk to him, he absolutely we definitely had a hot streak there. So we're going to recreate that. Oh, we're on the road to 2,000. So if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. If you're catching this on a replay, please subscribe. Hit the like button on your way in or on the way out, please. We're trying to hit 2,000 we're going to try to say by the end of the year. I think that's a reasonable, I think that's a reasonable goal. I want to hit 2,000 by the end of the year, by January 1st. And we can have like a 2,000. I'd like to have a 2,000 sub party before the 1st of, or at January 1st. That would be great. Also, bags, for sale. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. I'm still kind of getting stuff done. I'm editing a pretty, nice little cool little commercial, trying to make it, look and feel really super duper. Thank you, Solo Doll. I appreciate you, bro. Making it super professional here. Trying to do a lot with a little. I'm trying to do a lot with a little, and when it's like your own budget and your own stuff and your own everything, like.
Well, we built for that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the one that thing that Machismo TV said on his commercial, like, we've done so much with so little, like, that's so real. That's so
qualified to do anything.
Yeah, man, that's so real. That's like one of the realest things I ever heard. So, shout out to that brother for real, because that was a real life, like that really, like that's one of them things that really stuck with me. But shout out to Solo Dolo, man. That's my brother from another mother. Him in 315. Goddamn. Make me go ahead and down here and put some weight on this bar right now, bro. Make me go down and now I'm gonna have to lift something. Feel good about myself. So, anyways, thank you guys so much, man. I really, truly appreciate you. Jerome also, shout out to Jerome, thank you, bro. Back then, anybody else that I might have missed, man, I'm sorry about that. And shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to you guys. Gunmetal guy, USA. Also, I still want to make sure that I highlight the members, Michael J, and of course Solo Dolo. Thank you guys once again so much for being members and staying members. I appreciate you. So Michael J, if you catch us on a replay, salute to you, bro. Thank you so much. And again, Solo Dolo for being members. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And Broken Blade and I think that we will follow you guys on the next one. We are out. Peace.
Because that's just what's happening. We are winning.
We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning. We winning.